and Krishna. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was especially known as a strict Rupanuga, as described in the Sanskrit prayers written in his honor. Quote, I offer my respectful obeisances unto Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, the personified energy of Sri Chaitanya's mercy, who delivers devotional service enriched with conjugal love of Radha and Krishna, coming exactly in the line of revelation of Rupa Goswami. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, who are the personified teaching of Lord Chaitanya. You are the deliverer of the fallen souls. You do not tolerate any statement that is against the teaching of devotional service enunciated by Srila Rupa Goswami. So this is the disciplic succession. They strictly follow. So we will continue. Bhaktivedanta Swami's spiritual master and the previous spiritual masters in the disciplic succession had wanted the Krishna consciousness movement to spread all over the world. And as Bhaktivedanta Swami daily gathered inspiration sitting before Rupa Goswami's Samadhi, he prayed to his spiritual predecessors for guidance. The intimate direction he received from them was an absolute dictation, and no government, no publisher, nor anyone else could shake or diminish it. Rupa Goswami wanted him to go to the West. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati wanted him to go to the West, and Krishna had arranged that he be brought to Radha Damodar temple to receive their blessings. At the Radha Damodar temple, he felt he had entered an eternal residence known only to pure devotees of the Lord. Yet, although they were allowing him to associate intimately with them in the place of their pastimes, they were ordering him to leave Radha Damodar and Vrindavan, and to deliver the message of the Acharyas to the forgetful parts of the world. Haribol. So in June, the weather became intolerably hot, and one should not remain active through the afternoon. During the most oppressive hours, Bhaktivedanta Swami would shut his doors and shutters and run the overhead fan. By evening, the heat would abate. Again, a flurry of visitors would arrive. And in the temple compound, there would be evening kirtans. Sitting on his veranda, Bhaktivedanta Swami would sometimes talk with visitors, or sometimes they would come to his door and observe him as he worked at his typewriter. He was known in Vrindavan as a scholar and a sublime devotee, but he kept to himself as much as possible, especially in the summer of 1962, working on Srimad Bhagavatam. That was his real purpose in coming here, to prepare the books he could distribute to the people of the West. Although as yet he had no means for traveling, even as far as Japan, and no means for printing books, these were the goals for which he worked. He had not come to Vrindavan to die and return to Godhead. Rather, he had come because it was the ideal place to gain spiritual strength for his main life's work. The exact shape of his future mission, Bhaktivedanta Swami did not know. But he did know that he must prepare himself for preaching Srimad Bhagavatam to the English-speaking Western world. He must become a perfectly equipped instrument of his masters. And if that is all, they would send him. So we finished the chapter 10, so we will be embarking on chapter 11. So I was just thinking when we were hearing the Veda song, I don't know, the IIT people, we have so many of them. If we can just display this song on the screen, that would be very nice, so we can also follow. I don't know it's possible or not, but if we can, that would be great. Chapter 11, The Dream Come True. Srila Prabhupada writes in his own words, I planned that I must go to America. Generally, they go to London, but I did not want to go to London. I was simply thinking how to go to New York. I was scheming, quote, whether I shall go this way through Tokyo, Japan, or that way. Which way is cheaper? That was my proposal. And I was targeting to New York always. Sometimes I was dreaming that I have come to New York. Haribol. Writing was only half the battle. The other half was publishing. Both Bhaktivedanta Swami and his spiritual master wanted to see Srimad Bhagavatam printed in English and distributed widely. According to the teachings of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, the most modern method of printing and distributing books should be used to spread Krishna consciousness. Although many books of Vaishnava wisdom had already been perfectly presented by Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, and Jiva Goswami, the manuscript now sat deteriorating in the Radha Damodar temple and other locations. And even the Gaudiya Math's printing of the Goswami's work were not being widely distributed. One of the Bhaktivedanta Swami's godbrother asked him why he was spending so much time and effort trying to make a new commentary on the Bhagavatam, since so many great Acharya had already commented upon it. But in Bhaktivedanta Swami's mind, there was no question. His spiritual master has given him an order. Commercial publishers, however, were not interested in 60 volumes of Bhagavatam series. And Bhaktivedanta Swami was not interested in anything less than a 60-volume parampara presentation of verses, synonyms, and purports based on the commentaries of the previous acharyas. But to publish such book, he would have to raise private donation and publish at his own expense. Radha Damodar temple may have been the best place for writing Srimad Bhagavatam, but not for printing and publishing it. For that, he would have to go to the New Delhi. Among his Delhi contacts, Bhaktivedanta Swami considered Hista Saran Sharma a likely helper. Although when he had stayed in Mr. Sharma's home, Mr. Sharma had appreciated him more as a member of a genre than as an individual. At least Mr. Sharma was inclined to help sadhus. And he recognized Bhaktivedanta Swami as a genuinely religious person. Therefore, when Bhaktivedanta Swami approached him in his office, he was willing to help, considering it a religious duty to propagate Srimad Bhagavatam. So his Saran Sharma was qualified to help for two reasons. He was the secretary to J.D. Dalmia, a wealthy philanthropist, and he was the owner of a commercial printing works, Radha Press. According to Mr. Sharma, Mr. Dalmia would not directly give money to Bhaktivedanta Swami, even if his secretary suggested it. Mr. Sharma therefore advised Bhaktivedanta Swami to go to Gorakhpur and show his manuscript to Hanuman Prasad Podar, a religious publisher. Accepting this a good advice, Bhaktivedanta Swami journeyed to Gorakhpur, some 475 miles away from Delhi. Each such a trip as this constituted a financial strain. Bhaktivedanta Swami's daily leisure showed a balance of 130 rupees as of August 8, 1962. How wonderfully Prabhupada was keeping everything in detail. So nice to see how much with less money Prabhupada lived his life. We just waste money here and there. So much. The day he started for Gorakhpur, by the time he reached Lucknow, he was down to 57 rupees. Travel from Lucknow to Gorakhpur cost another 6 rupees. And the rickshaw to Mr. Podar's home cost 80 paisa. But the trip was well worth the cost. Bhaktivedanta Swami presented Mr. Podar with his letter of introduction from his Saran Sharma and then showed him his manuscript. After briefly examining the manuscript, Mr. Podar concluded to be a highly developed work that should be supported. He agreed to send a donation of 4,000 rupees to the Dalmia Trust in Delhi to be used toward the publication of Sri A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami's Srimad Bhagavatam. Indian printers do not always require full payment before they begin a job, provided they received a substantial advance payment. After the job is printed and bound, a customer who has not made the complete payment takes a portion of the books commensurate to what he has paid, and after selling this book, he uses his profit to buy more. Bhaktivedanta Swami estimated that printing one volume would cost 7,000 rupees. Haribol. So he was there 1,000 short. He raised a few hundred rupees more by going door to door throughout Delhi. Then he went back to Radha Press and asked his Saran Sharma to begin. Mr. Sharma agreed. Radha Press had already produced much of the first 2 chapters when Bhaktivedanta Swami objected that the type was not large enough. He wanted 12-point type, but the Radha Press had only 10-point. So Mr. Sharma agreed to take the work to another printer, Mr. Gautam Sharma of OK Press. In printing Bhaktivedanta Swami Volume 1 of the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, OK Press printed 4 books pages, twice on a side of 1 sheet of paper, 20 by 26 inches. Before running the full 1100 copies, they would print a proof, which Bhaktivedanta Swami would read, Then following the corrected proofs, the printer would correct the handset type and run a second proof, which Bhaktivedanta would also read. Usually he would also find error on the second proof. If so, they would print a third. And if he found no errors on the third proof, they would then print the final pages. At this pace, Bhaktivedanta Swami was able to order small quantity of paper. He could afford it. From 6 to 10 reams at a time, order 2 weeks in advance. So if you just wait, I'm fortunate to have that original book that Prabhupada bring when he came to America, the first Bhagavatam. So just wait, let me show you. As you can see, brown page, it says Srimad Bhagavatam, and at the bottom it says A.C. Bhaktivedanta. And I think it has the first canto, which chapter it is. Let me see the end chapter up to where it goes. Sixth chapter. Let's see. Seventh chapter. Also there. Yeah, it has up to this first 7 chapters, but that also 7 chapter only text number 7, chapter 7, text 7. That's only in the first volume of Srimad Bhagavatam. Volume.
So Prabhuji, is it a original copy what Prabhupada brought, or they produce multiple copies of the same?
No, this is the original book. Prabhupada bring it.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
You are so fortunate to have it.
Yes, yes. Very nice. So let's continue reading. His walk through the tight, crowded lanes of Chippiwada soon led him to a road close to the Jama Mosque, and that road led into the noisy, heavily trafficked Chawri Bazaar. The neighborhood was a busy paper district, where laborers with ropes strapped across their shoulders pulled stout wooden carts, heavily loaded with stacks of paper. on small iron wheels. For 2 blocks, paper dealers were the only business. Hariram Gupta and Company, Rupchand and Sons, Bengal Paper Mill Company Limited, Universal Traders, Janta Paper Mart, one after another, even down the side alleys. The neighborhood storefront were colorful and disorderly. Pedestrian traffic was so hectic that for a person to dally even for a moment would cause a disruptions. Carts and rickshaws carried paper and other goods back and forth through the streets. Sometimes a laborer would jog past with a hefty stack of pages on his head, the stack weighing down on either end. Traffic was swift, and an unmindful or slow-footed pedestrian risked being struck by a load protruding from the head of a bearer or from a passing car. Occasionally, a man would be squatting on the roadside, smashing chunks of wool into small pieces to sell. Tiny corner smoke shops drew small gathering of customers for cigarette or pan. The shopkeepers would rapidly spread the pan spice on a betel leaf, and the customer would walk off down the street chewing the pan and spitting out red-stained saliva. In India, this is something, I think one time I remember in a Gauranga Hall, it was newly built, maybe a couple of years, and then I rented to some for the marriage. And I have to use so much bleach to remove these pan stains. So then, as I remember that I used to advise before we rent the Gauranga Hall that no pan is allowed. We learn those things when we have those trouble comes. And other time also I witness that some people will say, but they come and then they have in a car some liquor or something. And you don't know, but they will go in a car to make some sips and come back, I told them that this is not acceptable. Haribol. Amidst this milieu, as the Chowri Bazar commercial district blended into tenement life and children played in the hazardous streets. Bhaktivedanta Swami was a gentle-looking yet determined figure. As he walked past the tenements, the tile sellers, the grain sellers, the sweet shops, and the printers, overhead would be electric wires, pigeons, and the clotheslines from the tenement balconies. Finally, he would come to OK Press, directly across from a small mosque. He would come carrying the corrected proofs to anxiously oversee the printing work. After 4 months, when the whole book had been printed and the sheets were stacked on the floor of the press, Mr. Hitsaran Sharma arranged for the work to be moved to a bindery. The binding was done by an ancient operation, mostly by hand, and it took another month. Bhaktivedanta Swami would come and observe the workers. A row of men sat in a small room, surrounded by a stack of printed paper. The first man would take one of the large printed sheets, rapidly fold it twice, and pass it to the next man, who performed the next operation. The pages would be folded, stitched, and collected then put into a vise and hammered together before being trimmed on three sides with a handsaw and glued. Bit by bit, the book would be prepared for the final hardcover. In addition to his visitor to OK Press and the bindery, Bhaktivedanta Swami would also occasionally travel by bus across the Yamuna River to Mr. Hitsaran Sharma's Radha Press. The Radha Press was printing 1,000 dust jacket for the volume. Hitsaran Sharma spoke as follows. Swamiji was going hither and thither. He was getting whatever collection he could and depositing them, and he was always mixing with many persons, going hither and thither. With me, he was very fond that I should do everything as soon as possible. He had a great haste. He used to say, quote, time is going, quick, do it, unquote. He would be annoyed with me also, and he would have me do his work first. But I was in the service of Dalmia, and I would tell him, quote, your work has to be secondary for me, unquote. But then he would say, quote, now you have wasted my 2 days. What is this, Sarmaji? I'm coming here. I told you in the morning to do this, and you have not done it even now, unquote. But I would reply, quote, I have got no time during the day, unquote. Then he would say, quote, then you have wasted my complete day, unquote. So he was very much pressing me. This was his temperament. It's 6:52. We can read one more paragraph. The binding was reddish, the color of an earthen brick, and was inlaid with golden lettering. Bhaktivedanta Swami had designed the dust jacket himself, and he had commissioned a young Bengali artist named Salit to execute it. It was a wraparound picture of the entire spiritual and material manifestation. Dominating the front cover was a pink lotus, and within its world were Radha and Krishna and their pastimes in Vrindavan. That's we have the current cover for the first canto. Along with Lord Chaitanya chanting and dancing with his associates. From Krishna's lotus planet emanated yellow rays of light, and in that effulgence were many spiritual planets, appearing like so many suns. Sitting within each planet was a different form of Narayan, each with his name letter beneath the planet, Trivikrama, Keshava, Purushottama, and so on. Within an oval at the bottom of the front cover, Mahavishnu was exalting the material universes. On the inside cover was Bhaktivedanta Swami's explanation of the cover illustrations. So I think we have reached the time. Yesterday I spent some time. I was thinking that it should be okay not to cover the plants. Some plant I already cut down to the ground, and then it will grow with many new sprout. So then I said it should be okay because they said it's not gonna be lower than 31, and I can see right now it's 31 degree outside. 7 o'clock is the lowest temperature we reach normally. So then evening came, and somehow or other I went outside, and I feel so cold. I said, how this some of this plant will take the cold. So I started wrapping up. I didn't go to the temple, and I felt that they need some attention. So I cover so many plants. I work another until I think 8:30 or something at night. I was wrapping up the plant, and when I sleep, I was feeling so good that at least they have the warmth air underneath. Couple of elephant ear plant, big one. I haven't covered it, so I'm gonna go now outside and see how they are doing. If not, then today I'm gonna cover a little more. So with those thoughts, please accept my humble obeisances at your feet. You are so kind to take so many austerity to join in the morning despite the household duties and responsibilities. But one thing remember in the life that we will never be able to achieve materially what we want to achieve, no matter how hard we will work. We will fix something, and next you will see something is unbroken, broken thing. So we try to fix those things throughout our life, and we have seen that how old are we and what we have done. Just do the patch up work. So instead, if we surrender and become steadfast for the devotional service, Krishna can make all the perfect arrangement for us. We won't have to work that hard. Like I have experienced that somebody was paying me to chant 35 rounds in 8 hours. That Krishna can make it possible. So keep those thoughts in your mind. It's not that we have to work like cats and dogs and asses. Human form of life is something that we should utilize so nicely. We should plan out and what to speak of. That we have, Krishna has so blessed us that we have all the opportunities right there in front of us. And still, if we cannot achieve this goal, we will regret it so heavily. Remember my words. Those days are ahead of us. And when it comes, we don't know. But you will see that we will get a great pain that what the hell I did in my life. Missing the opportunity. And then who knows what birth we will get. All these things, what we do materially has no value. And how much do we need to exist our life, simple life. Like normally I sample a acts on Sunday, where you are gonna eat. Should I make your dinner at home and then go to temple? Then tell me, she will ask me. And I said, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go to the temple or not. So yesterday I said, I'm gonna go because one of the devotees, I told him, Raman Krishna Prabhu, when we visited and they make masala dosa, and on the chutney they use a lot of curry leaves. And they said, now we don't have any curry leaf. I said, I have plenty. So then yesterday I woke up, and first thing I did was finish my chanting, and then I ironed all my clothes. Then I got the time. Then I went in the garden. Whatever plant that need to be cut off, I cut it off. And then 10 minutes I rested on my swing and relaxed a little bit. And then I went to the curry leaf plant. I have so many plants, so I just cut these whole branches. So bundle I bring inside my home. And then, they show me so nicely. I said, I don't want to give them just a branch. Let me separate each leaves, it's very easy. I wear the one hand gloves because otherwise when you do this, your finger will become green and it's very difficult to take out the stain. So I wear the gloves in one hand and just scraping all the leaves from these twigs. And I fill up 3 frozen bags, big one. One for ourselves, one for my daughter, one for Ramakrishna Prabhu asked me. Still, I have some more if anybody needs it. And then I told them that when you come to the temple, you stop by, and then I may ride with you. So when he come, I was still working in the garden. So I said, Prabhuji, I think that it's important that I like to cover up those plants. I have one Manse Ganga Mataji always bring from the Trader's Joe, small 6 inches tall gardenia plant. Now it is spread like a 4 or 5 feet circle diameter and about 2 feet high. So last year when it was really become very cold, so that plant will become very weak. So it has to start from the beginning, and I have to put a lot of energy to revive it. So I said, at least let me put on the gardenia plant. It's a round circle, so I have round cloth. Some of them I have the rectangular and all that different shapes to cover different plants. So I covered that, and then I was inspired that hey, it's cold, let me cover other parts. So then curry leaves, I cover that one. Then I have another flower which give purple flowers. So in the morning I cut it off, chop it up to the ground. So I covered that one. And then I saw that I planted in one section rubber plant. So I said, I don't know this rubber plant will survive the cold or not. So then I covered that one. And then one of the plant I have that it give very thin, long 1 inch flower like a stem, and then open up little bit, very dark purple color, beautiful plant that I always now cut it down because it gives so many new sprouts. So then I was thinking that I have already cut it. I must cover that also. So by then it was like 8:30. Came home and I think in between at 7 o'clock or something because wife didn't make anything knowing that I'm gonna go to the Sunday feast. So I think I took a little break and 15 minutes I cut vegetable and I what you call that sauteed a little bit for 2 minutes, and then I eat that one bowl of vegetable. That was my dinner. Original, my diet came yesterday. And then 8:30, then I went to sleep. So nice. So I'm gonna go a little outside and check it out of the plant. Other plant also, I was thinking to cut it down because it come out so beautifully, but it's hard